Hi everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to All Levels Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. So let's begin in sort of a restorative version of Child's Pose, which is already pretty restorative. You'll need 2 blocks or 2 pillows or 2 folded blankets, just as long as they're the same height, sort of rectangular-ish, like a block. So we're gonna place the block on the medium height, so the second level up. And have the blocks sort of diagonally turned out towards the upper outer corners of your mat. And space them just slightly wider than your shoulders distance apart on the narrowest part of the blocks. And then you'll come to sit in Child's Pose with your feet together, knees either together or apart, as wide apart as it allows you to rest your pelvis down and get a nice stretch and relax. And then we'll set our forearms on top of the blocks and just let your wrists sort of flop down, drawing your shoulder blades down your back, lower your forehead onto the ground. And just take a moment here to tune in. Perhaps you feel your pelvis sink a little deeper down and back towards your feet. So I'm going to read another excerpt from Meditations from the Mat as we continue our exploration of the kleshas. Now, when I'm in a situation that's a little scary or unpleasant, I can just acknowledge it. I don't have to attach to it all of the baggage that I would have attached to it before, like, what if this happens? What if that happens? I believe it has something to do with the way in which yoga allows me to release layers of tension or tightness. I have an image of a body that has shoulders hunched in and head down versus a body in which the chest is open, where I can see more of what is around me. My heart feels more open now. I feel more connected to the ground I am walking on. This was written by a yoga student named Gil. So Gil is describing the experience of asana, wearing away asmita, related sense of self. Over the years of his practice, Gil has arrived at a decreased sense of the isolated self and come more fully into himself. His heart is open. He is connected to the ground he walks on. I saw a movie once in which the central character slowly uncovers a medieval masterpiece that had been painted over in the chapel of a modern-day English church. As the movie progresses, we watch the masterpiece gradually appear under the patient care of the main character. Asana practice is like that. Only in yoga we are both the masterpiece and the methodical artist, painstakingly working to uncover the hidden work of art. So if you haven't already, please begin to deepen your breath right where you are, in that supported child's pose. Perhaps you release a few sighs or audible sounds through your mouth as you exhale. And tracing the inhale from the beginning as you feel the expansion of your lungs, your belly. Come all the way out to empty and hold your breath there for a few seconds. And then, if it's feasible, to just breathe through your nose, sustaining your breath now without pausing, finding a smooth transition breaths, making full use of your lungs and even your abdomen to receive your belly. Yes.
all the while starting to create a soft whispering sound, which makes this a style of breathing called Ujjayi Pranayama. Back of your throat. That sound, like blocks aside so they're off your mat. And then come forward onto hands and knees, setting your knees slightly behind your hips, like 2 inches back, and then your wrists right under your shoulders. Let's begin a few rounds of cat-cow with a breath. Inhaling, glide your spine forward, then coil your chest up. Exhaling, contract your belly, rounding your back, let your head fall. Slow synchronization of your movement to the sound waves of your breath. A few more times. Creating space along the front and back of your spine. On your next exhalation, tucking your toes, flattening your palms into the earth. Lift your hips into downward facing dog and allow the first few breaths to explore if you'd like to move around a bit. Like if you're choosing to pedal your feet to warm up the backs of your legs, you could add doing the twist. Swiveling your hips side to side, looking underneath one armpit towards the sky and then the other as you softly move your head. Listening to the waves of your breath. In downward facing dog, step your feet forward about 1 foot closer to your hands, shortening the stance, and then separate your feet even wider apart than hips distance, maybe even as wide as the outer edges of your mat as we prepare for a twist. Keeping your left hand on the ground or propped on a block for easier access, cross your right hand to catch hold of your outer left calf or ankle. Root your right heel downward into the floor, and then spin your chest towards your left side, looking underneath your left armpit towards the sky as you completely drop your skull and relax your jaw for a few breaths. Let your shoulders rise away from your neck. And then let's switch sides, setting your right hand down in front of you, maybe propped on a block. Cross your left hand to the outside of your right calf or ankle. From down to your left heel, look under your right armpit towards the sky. And then let your head fall as you listen to your breath. And from here, walk your hands back towards your feet. Bending your knees a lot, drop your skull, let your head hang loose. Drop your arms, let your spine hang loose. Keep your knees bent, your feet grounded so the front muscles of your thighs are pretty actively engaged. Even let your belly be actively engaged. And with a very slow inhalation, start to roll your spine to stack from your lower vertebra all the way up to your neck. And then finally, your crown. Letting your shoulder behind you and down as you come to stand. Then let's walk up to the top of your mat into a slow flow of sun salutation C. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Interlace your fingers inside out here. We're going to add a variation. As you exhale, side bend to your left, firming your right foot into the floor. As you inhale, rise up, back to center. Keep your shoulders relaxed. As you exhale, side bend to your right, firming your left foot down. Inhale, rise to center. Open your arms as you exhale to hinge from your hips, maybe bending your knees as we're starting to warm up our back. press the ground to your legs. Inhale, lengthen forward. Lower your hands outside of your heels, maybe on blocks, and step your left knee back, untuck the toes. From down to your right foot, and inhale, sweep your arms forward and up, coiling your chest up. Then back stroke your hands to the mat, stepping into a modified plank, hands and knees on the floor. Gliding forward with an exhalation, lower your chin first, a modified vinyasa. Slide your belly, pelvis, legs to the floor. Hug your elbows close to your sides and inhale into a light cobra pose, drawing your shoulders down. As you exhale, press up and lift your pelvis back to downward facing dog. Let's pause for a cycle of breath. On your next inhale, raise your left leg behind you. But as you exhale, bend your left knee first and turn open your left thigh at the hip. As you breathe in, tack your right outer hip further back. And as you breathe out, slowly round forward to plank and softly step left foot inside of left hand. Right knee down and tuck the toes. Sweep your arms forward and up as you breathe in to rise. Backstroke your arms and land your hands at the front of your mat, exhaling as you step the right foot forward to bow. From down to both feet, inhale, sweep your arms to rise all the way up to stand. Palms meet. Exhale, back to mountain pose. Side two. Same sequence. Inhale the arms up. Interlace the opposite thumb and index finger on top. Flip your palms inside out. To your right, exhale, side bend. Inhale up to center. To your left, exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Open your arms. Exhale, bow forward. Maybe bend the knees. Press with your fingertips. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Keep your hands on the floor or your blocks. Exhale, right knee steps back, untuck the toes. Sweeping your arms forward and up, breathe in and coil your chest up. Backstroke your hands to the floor, entering plank. If you feel you're ready, start plank with legs straight this time and take a chaturanga. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin, or bend the elbows back and come all the way down. Inhale into cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog. Let's take one breath here in stillness. Next, inhale, raise your right leg. Exhaling, bend your right knee and turn open your thigh at the hip. Inhale, tack your left outer hip back. Exhale, round forward and softly step your right foot just inside of your right hand. Lower your back knee, untuck the toes. Sweeping your arms forward and up, breathe in, coil your chest up. Backstroke your hands to the top of your mat and exhale, step the left foot forward to bow. Inhale, sweep your arms, rising all the way up. Maybe even a gentle standing back bend. Exhale, your arms by your sides, mountain pose. Let's begin sun salutation A. Inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway, either step to plank, or this time float into Chaturanga Dandasana. Entering cobra or upward facing dog as you breathe in. Exhale into downward dog, and let's pause there, steadying our gaze for 3 to 5 breaths. As you let your head just hang freely, feel your triceps rotate slightly towards the ground while firming your palms into the earth, especially between your thumbs and index fingers. When you're ready for one last round of Surya A, bend your knees, look past your hands. At the bottom of your exhalation, quietly land your feet at the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, palms meet towards the sky. Exhale, back to mountain pose. Take one more sun salutation A on your own. Follow your pace of breath. Let's meet in downward facing dog. A few breaths in downward facing. So we're going to go ahead and enter single pigeon pose, prepping our hips to open up a bit more. If you'd rather sit down and lie on your back to come into figure 4 shape, the supine version, go ahead and start that with right ankle over left thigh. Otherwise, from downward dog, cross your right calf in front of your pelvis onto your mat. Slide your left leg straight back, and then square your hips evenly to face the front of your mat, maybe placing a prop under your right glute. And lifting your chest, place your hands on the floor on blocks slightly in front of your body. And let's keep the torso upright so we're not falling into a cool down here. Let's take just about 5 more breaths. Relax your shoulders. Do you feel any areas of your physical body shedding layers of tension? And if so, imagine you could breathe into those parts. So from here, if you're lying down, you'll rock yourself forward and meet us to set up for warrior 2, stepping your right foot to the front and center of the mat, straightening your left leg and spinning the heel down flat. Align your right heel to the arch of your left foot, and then cartwheel your arms open to rise right into Virabhadrasana 2. So steadying your gaze on one spot, whether eyes closed or gazing just past your right hand. Stay right in the pose. I'm just going to check to make sure everyone's muted. So as you feel yourself here in warrior 2, right outer hip is wrapped underneath you. Top of your left thigh bone is firming back towards the right edge of your mat. Grounded evenly through your right big toe mound and the outer edge of your left foot as your pelvis, a bowl shape, sits upright, nurturing the full length of your spine. Feel the ease in your breath as you relax your shoulders down. The reach through your arms, your fingertips. Last 2 breaths. So straightening your right leg, flip your right palm to face up. Let's reverse triangle pose by sweeping your right arm overhead and leaning back sideways towards the rear edge of your mat. Just a couple of breaths in this transitional posture for triangle pose. So as you rise up, preparing for triangle, you may want to shorten your stance 2 to 3 inches. Slide your pelvis towards the rear edge of your mat. Reach your right arm horizontally forward past your right knee before lowering your hand down onto your right leg or just to the right of it, maybe on a block. You could firm your arm and right leg into each other while reaching your left arm up, stacking your wrists and shoulders. If it feels okay on your neck, steady your gaze up past your left thumb. Draw your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Reach your tailbone back towards your left outer heel. So let's prepare to enter half moon pose, which triangle pose is sort of a blend of transition. You might bring your left hand to your left hip. Gaze at the ground ahead of your right foot and bend your right knee. Crawl your right fingertips about 6 inches ahead of your right pinky toe on a block or the floor. Then out to the right upper corner. Drag in your left foot and flex it as you lift the heel to about the height of your hip. turning your chest open to face your left wall. Maybe even reaching your left arm up, and you feel the shape and energy of triangle pose. Same sense of groundedness, even though your left leg is lifted, through the flexing of your muscles in your legs, through the drawing of navel to spine. And you feel the expansiveness as you reach out through all of your limbs and both ends of your spine. Perhaps you gaze up. Staying in tune with your breathing. When you're ready, bend your right knee and try to very softly step back to Warrior Two. Take a breath or two in Warrior Two when you arrive. Then cartwheel your hands to the floor. Optional to take a vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Coming back to the balance in your breath. So if you were in supine, thread the needle version of single pigeon, the hip opener, go ahead and sit down, lie on your back, cross left ankle over right thigh. Otherwise, cross your left calf in front of your pelvis onto your mat. Come to sit down with your right leg straight behind you. Square your hips to face forward, maybe placing a prop under your left glute. And let's keep the torso upright. You could have your hands on blocks or the floor slightly in front of your body. Taking just about 5 more deep breaths. Is there any part of your body you could direct through visualization your breath, supporting to open up? All right, if you're lying down, gradually lift yourself up so that we can all step left foot front and center on your mat, right leg straight, sealing the heel flat, and align left heel to arch of right foot, cartwheeling your arms to Warrior Two. So right away, steady your gaze, whether inward or just past your left hand. Feel your left outer hip wrap beneath your body as you firm the top of your right thigh bone back towards the left edge of your mat. Feel your weight evenly grounded through the big toe mound of your left foot and the outer edge of your right foot. Feel a sense of lifting your pelvic floor as you align your pelvic bowl upright, fully lengthening your spine. Broad across your arms, reach through your fingertips while softening your shoulders down. Straightening your left leg, flip your left palm to face up, reverse triangle pose, sweeping your left arm overhead as you lean towards your rear wall in a lateral spinal stretch. Then rise up to prepare for triangle. You might like to step your feet a little closer together, 2 to 3 more inches. Slide your hips towards the rear edge of your mat. Reach your left hand towards your front wall, then lower it onto your left leg or just to the left of your leg, perhaps on a block, while firming arm and leg against each other. Drawing your tailbone back actively towards your right heel. Feel the reach up to your right arm as you stack your shoulders and wrists, while softening your shoulders away from your neck. Gaze might be up towards your right thumb. Let's take a few more breaths. So let's take the same shape onto one leg, half moon pose. In transitioning, you might place your right hand to your right hip. Look down at one spot just in front of your left foot, and bending your left knee, crawl your left hand 6 inches ahead of your left pinky toe out to the left corner. Drag your right foot forward and flex the foot, raising the heel to the height of your hip. Turn your chest to face your right wall, stacking your 2 shoulders naturally above your left wrist. And if that's not naturally happening, notice if you might have to adjust where your left hand is. Maybe raise your right arm up, maybe look up. So in remembering that triangle pose is a blueprint for this half moon, notice how your left leg has not changed orientation. Your left knee and middle toe continue to trace the midline of your mat, facing forward. Listening to your breathing. As you feel ready, try to softly land back to Warrior Two, stepping your right foot down. And once there, take a few breaths. So being economical with our time, let's simply step right foot to meet the left foot at the top of your mat, and we're gonna enter Sun Salutation B in a continuous flow. So let your feet come together to touch. Then bend your knees together to touch. As you inhale to sit your weight back towards your heels, grazing the floor with your fingertips, perhaps as you raise your arms up. Take another breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway, step to plank or float to chaturanga. Insert your own vinyasa here. We'll meet in downward dog. From downward facing, inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, softly step the foot inside of your right hand so your feet are hips width apart as you drop your back heel. Keep facing forward as you inhale to rise up, arms overhead in Warrior One. Then exhale, lowering through plank, insert your vinyasa. Side two, inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale your foot forward inside of your left hand, right heel down. Keep facing forward as you inhale to rise. From Warrior One, exhale down through plank and into your own vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Let your body be still as you steady your gaze for 3 to 5 breaths. Perhaps taking a mental scan of your spine and how you're nurturing the full length of it here. From neck to tailbone. So let's wrap up this round. Bend your knees, look forward. Bottom of your breath, lightly land your feet to touch at the top of your mat. Breathe in to lengthen forward. Breathe out to fold. Bending knees, inhale into chair pose. And from here, join your hands together at your heart. Staying in chair, turn out your right leg at the hip. Flexing your right foot, cross the ankle over your left thigh like a figure 4. And gradually, if you can, sit a little lower, evenly drawing your sitting bones down and back. Lifting your chest. Now you could stay right here. You could reach your arms up towards the sky, or make your way to lowering your hands on blocks or the floor, 1 foot in front of your front foot. Now, if you're able to flatten your palms on the ground, perhaps you play with entering an arm balance, flying single pigeon pose. If you are playing with that, you'll want to curl the top of your right foot to clasp around the outside of your left upper arm. Gaze forward on the ground about 3 feet ahead of your fingertips to help you shift your weight forward as you cross your right shin on top of both upper arms, bending your elbows back. Push off the floor, push off your upper arms, and maybe lifting your left foot flexed, You extend the leg behind you. Taking your time as you feel ready. Reverse the stages you got into this variation of the pose that you're in. And let's eventually meet rising up to stand, feet together, arms by your sides, mountain pose. So feel your feet touching. Then again, bend your knees to touch. Returning a chair, Utkatasana. Join your hands at your heart and steady your gaze on one spot just in front of you. Turning out your left leg at the hip, flex your left foot and cross the ankle over your right thigh. Begin to sit a little lower if you can, drawing your weight back evenly through both sitting bones. Feel how your navel draws in towards your spine and up towards your heart while relaxing your shoulders down. Maybe you raise your arms up. Maybe you reach for blocks to the ground with fingertips. Maybe you play towards flying single pigeon where palms are flat, shoulders width apart, 1 foot ahead of your right toes. And you clasp the top of your left foot around your right upper arm, gazing 3 feet ahead of your fingertips. Crossing left shin on top of both upper arms, bend your elbows back like Chaturanga. Pushing off your upper arms in the floor. Maybe extending your right leg straight behind you as you flex the foot and breathe. Taking your time as you're ready, reverse the stages and we'll eventually meet again in mountain pose. So from mountain pose, if you have a strap and you want some support for any tightness in your shoulders, please grab that strap. And let's set up our blocks as well. So come to stand at the top of your mat with your feet hips width apart. Then place the blocks surrounding your heels. Then step your left foot back 2/3 as far as you did in Warrior One. So it's a shorter stance where you could ground both feet, keep your hips facing forward, and straighten your legs. And then holding the strap from your left hand, raise your left arm, dangle the strap behind you, and rotate your left outer upper arm forward, bending your elbow behind your head to land your left palm between your shoulder blades. Slide your shoulder blades down and open your throat. Then reach your right hand underneath behind you to grab the other end of the strap. You might be holding your shirt with 2 hands if you don't have a strap, walking your hands as close together as you can. If you're able to clasp your fingers, you could release the strap. Then spread your toes, engage the fronts of your thighs, your belly, and take a deep breath as you lift your chest and look up. Exhaling, firm your belly in and start to bow forward towards your inner right shin. Pausing as you breathe in to reestablish a strong base in your physical posture, which is your feet, your legs, what connects you literally to the ground. And as you breathe out, maybe exploring a little more depth in the pose, while honoring integrity in your spine and breath. Pyramid pose, or Parsvottanasana. Now start to lift your spine parallel to the floor. Bring your right thumb to the outer crease of your right hip, drawing it back. Lower your left hand on the left side of your right ankle or foot, right beneath your shoulder. You might use a block. Now lengthening your spine forward, draw your shoulder blades back, and then turn your chest to the right incrementally with each new breath. If you're opting for a more challenging twist, you could place your left hand on the right side of your right ankle or foot, perhaps on a block. Eventually raising your right arm up, we begin to stack your wrists and shoulders and maybe even gaze up. Revolved triangle pose, or Parita Trikonasana. Take another deep breath here. Notice how your two hips are balanced. Then look at your right foot. Take your blocks, if you might want to use them for a modified warrior three, and walk your hands a foot in front of your right toes, leaning into a modified warrior three. Flex your left foot. Keep both hip bones facing the ground. Feel a lift of your navel as you draw your chest forward, your shoulders back. Breathe. Now flexing your left foot. Imagine as though you're actually pressing against the back wall of your room, because that's going to be really helpful to enter our twist of half moon pose. So walk your left hand 1 foot in front of your right big toe. Again, using your right thumb, hook your right hip crease back to balance your hips as you lengthen your spine forward. Inhale. Exhale, twist to your right, incrementally, raising your right arm to the sky. Revolved half moon pose, or Parita Ardha Chandrasana. When you feel ready to land, lower your two hands on your two blocks. Lift your chest, gaze in warrior three, and then set your left foot just a hip's distance apart from the right. Come into a standing forward fold at the top of your mat. And place your blocks, if you use them, to frame your outer heels again. Grab your strap while you're down there, and then bend your knees as you inhale, roll your spine upright. Now for mountain pose, let's step the right foot back 2/3 as far as you did in warrior one, where both soles are grounded, both legs are straight, both hips are facing forward. Raise your right hand holding the strap so you're dangling it behind you. And rotate your right tricep forward, bend your right elbow, and lower your right palm between your shoulder blades. Relax your two shoulders down, open your throat, reach your left hand underneath to grab the other end of the strap, or you're holding your shirt behind you. Walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. And then spread your toes and feel your literal connection with the earth. From down through your feet, engage the front muscles of your thighs, your belly. Take a deep breath and coil your chest up. As you exhale, keep your belly firm while you begin to fold. Pausing as you inhale to feel the strength of your base, feet and legs, while lengthening your spine some more. Exhaling to explore, perhaps folding deeper in pyramid pose. Parsvottanasana. Now, as you firm down to your feet, inhale, lift your spine parallel to the ground. Bring your left thumb to the outer crease of your left hip. Lower your right hand on the right side of your right ankle or foot. And keep lengthening your crown forward as you slide your shoulders back. Exhaling, twist just at your waist, turning your chest to face your left wall, breath by breath a little more. Now, if you're opting for a more challenging version of the twist, you could place your right hand on the left side of your left ankle or foot. Then eventually raising your left arm up, maybe look up. Revolved triangle pose, or Parita Trikonasana. Feel the alignment of your two hips as they level in height. Then look down at your left foot, grab your two blocks if you're going to use them for modified warrior three, and set your hands 1 foot ahead of your left toes, shoulders width apart. Drag your right toes forward and flex the foot as you lift your right leg parallel to the ground, just like your spine is. And balance again the height of your hips as you firm in your belly and lengthen your sternum forward. Modified Virabhadrasana 3. Now entering revolved half moon, Walk your right hand 1 foot in front of your left big toe. Again, use your left thumb to hook the crease of your left foot. How solid your right leg is. Then begin to twist to your left. Maybe eventually raising your left arm. Maybe also looking up. How is your breath? Parita Ardha Chandrasana. And when you're ready, both hands on blocks or the ground, step your right foot forward, come into a standing forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. If you're feeling any tightness in your hamstrings or hips at all, grab the strap while you're down there. And if you're not sure, grab the strap. Bring your hands to your hips, bend your elbows towards the sky. Lead with your chest and inhale to rise up. Lots of balance play today. Let's do one more, standing upright. So step the ball of your right foot into the loop or middle of your strap. And then come to stand in mountain pose with your feet touching, holding the strap in your right hand. Left hand to your left hip, spread your toes, and feel the ground as you press into it, rebounding your lift up to your spine. Now, with belly engaged, eyes steady, start to bend your right knee to the height of your right hip, walking your right hand down the strap as close to your right foot as you can. Now, if you're able to clasp your toes here, then you don't need the strap. Flexing your right foot, balance the height of your two hips. And to whatever degree you can keep your spine upright, begin to straighten your right leg forward while pulling the strap or your big toe, keeping your right shoulder in its socket and leveled with your left. Raising your left arm towards the sky, feel the ground beneath and press into it. Feel the lift of your crown, hand to big toe pose, or Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. Now opening your left arm wide, turn out your right leg and slowly open your right leg, just the amount where your spine could still stay upright. Remember that you can bend your right knee any amount to support your balance. And if you want to challenge your balance some more, you could look over your left thumb. Now gazing forward, slowly bring your right leg forward. Raise your left arm one more and cross that hand to the outside of your bent knee, or grab the strap with the left hand or catch hold of your outer ankle or foot. Reaching your right arm back, stand tall as you breathe in. Level your hips and twist to your right as you breathe out. Revolved hand to big toe pose, or Parita Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. Take another breath and turn your gaze forward if you were looking back. Raise your arms, lift your right leg for one inhalation, get tall, lift your pelvic floor, and then softly step your right foot next to your left. Close your eyes a moment and take a few deep breaths in mountain pose, also known as Samastitihi, which means equal standing pose. All right, if you're going to start with a strap, step the ball of your left foot into the loop or center of the strap. Holding the strap with your left hand, bring your right hand to your right hip. Take your time in the transition, finding integrity within each stage of the transition before you decide to go any further, no matter what you did on the first side. Steady your gaze, steady your breath, feel the steadiness of your body.
Flexing your left foot, bend your left knee to the height of your left hip. Walk your left hand closer to your left foot on the strap. Feel a sense of pulling and kicking. So those counter forces help you to stay upright and balanced. Now, whatever degree you can, keep your spine upright, straighten your left leg forward. Perhaps instead of the strap, you're clasping your big toe with your index and middle fingers. That's what makes it hand to big toe. Draw your left shoulder back and down, pulling your two shoulders, two hips. Right arm to the sky. Feel the ground beneath. Remember that Hatha Yoga is a physical balancing of counter forces. Much of the time in these active careers. And you feel the rooting down and the lifting. Opening your right arm out, turning your left leg, and then begin to open your left leg, finding a good amount to balance your spine still upright. Remembering that you could bend your left knee. Trace your inhalation from start to finish. Trace your exhalation from start to finish. Remember that this asana practice is present. Start to bring your left leg forward. Right arm up. Regain your center and then cross your right hand to catch the strap. The outer edge of your foot. Left arm reaches behind you. Get a little taller as you breathe in. Twist at your waist. Notice here if your left hip bone is rising higher than your right hip bone. So tacking your left hip crease down, just like we did with using our thumb in the other balancing poses. If you're looking behind you, start to gaze forward again. And then inhale your arms up, get really tall, lift your pelvic floor. Exhale, set your left foot down. Let's come to the center of our mats. Jump or step your feet very wide apart for a wide-legged forward fold. Parallel your feet. Just bring the hands behind to clasp your hands. And then roll your shoulders back, take a deep breath in. Exhale, lengthen your hips, bend your knees any amount you might need to fully lengthen your spine. And then reaching your arms forward, lift your shoulders up away from your neck. Let your head go as we take a few deep. Now, if you do practice tripod headstand or you want to get in a crow pose, arm balance, feel free to add that on here as we stay a little longer. Or if you'd like to add more final twist by lowering a hand in front of you and raising the other arm to the sky, breaths each side. Add your flavor here of what you're needing as part of your inversion practice. Take a few more breaths. And with feet on the earth, crawl your fingertips forward, lifting your spine halfway up. Pause there for a few breaths. Then bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees, and lead with your chest. Inhale, slowly rise up. So let's come to sit. And we'll actually lower down to our bellies, getting a little more opening in the fronts of our shoulders and a more yin posture. To set your right ear either onto the ground, or you can have a pillow just to the right of it so you can roll over to that side. Slide your right arm wide out to the right with your palm face down. Press the ground away with your left fingertips beside your left shoulder, and then roll over onto your right hip. So right ear is on a prop or the floor,
Slide your right shoulder blade down your back ribs. Make room for that side of your neck. Taking deep breaths here. Perhaps a few cooling exhales through your mouth, maybe even fluttering your lips. Or lion's breath, sticking your tongue out, mouth and eyes wide. You might venture deeper into the shoulder opener by stepping your left foot onto the ground outside of your mat behind you. Or both feet onto the ground, bending both knees towards the sky. Last 2 breaths here. And gently roll on your side. Switching sides, if you used a prop for your head, transfer it just to the left of your skull here to start. Slide your left arm wide onto its side, palm face down. Press the ground away with your right fingertips. And as you roll onto your left hip, lean your left ear onto the floor or your prop. Take a moment to slide your left shoulder blade further down your back. Make room for your neck. You might see how it feels to step your right foot behind you onto the ground, putting a little more weight into this inner shoulder stretch. Or left foot onto the ground, bending both knees towards the sky. Another helpful breathing technique for cooling down is to take longer exhalations than inhalations. And counting also helps to relax the mind. So counting from 5 as you breathe in, from 7 as you breathe out. Slowly unwind onto your belly. Then gently slide back into child's pose. As you roll up from child's pose to sit, pick one of your blocks and come to lie down on your back, bending your knees, stepping your feet on the ground. Then from here, lift your pelvis and slide the block, starting on its lowest height across your mat under your sacrum, the flat part of your lower back. Then bend your right knee into your chest, catching hold of your right thigh or shin. And to whatever degree you can, straighten your left leg forward and flex your left foot, pressing your heel onto the ground, keeping your left knee and toes facing straight up towards the sky. If you're not feeling much of an opening in your left hip flexor, tilt the block higher, a level or 2. Just a few more breaths here. Ground your shoulders, relax your head. Bending your left knee, step your left foot on the ground, then your right foot too. Switch, catching hold of your left thigh or shin. Then to whatever degree you can, straighten your right leg forward, flexing your right foot. Press your heel onto the ground. Knee and toes facing the sky, straight up. Perhaps adjust the height of the block under your sacrum. Then from here, bend your right knee, step your right foot on the ground, then begin to raise both of your legs straight up while balancing on the block. Entering our last pose before Shavasana. If it feels soothing for you, you could rest your palms face down on your belly here. Tilt your chin slightly back, open your throat, and empty this breath. Slowly into your belly, inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To your mouth, exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Into your belly, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out through the mouth, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time on your own. In 5, out 7. Bending your knees, set your feet on the ground to remove the block from beneath. Setting your body up for a comfortable position to stay in stillness and relax in Shavasana. Close your eyes and release control of your breath. Resting just another moment in Shavasana. Notice any shift you may have felt through your practice since you first arrived tonight. As your body wants to move, let it ease into a simple stretch, gentle motion. Turning your head to release your neck, or raising your arms overhead and pointing your toes. You might draw your knees into your chest, perhaps turning over to your right side. For your own path of least resistance, begin to lift your body upright. Let's meet in a comfortable seat. And if this is the end of your practice tonight, namaste. Thanks for joining us. If you're choosing to stay for a 10-minute meditation, get nice and comfortable. Your body can feel relaxed. Your mind can feel relaxed. In an alert position as well. You might like to bring your thumb and first finger to touch, perhaps stacking left palm over right, as that can help to feel interconnectedness in your physical body. And whether you choose to softly gaze with eyes partially closed on one spot in front of you, or to completely close your eyes, I'm going to guide us through the last few limbs of yoga, or at least up to the 7th of the 8 limbs, beginning with pratyahara, which is withdrawing from external stimuli. And we'll gradually move into dharana, which is concentrating on one thing, which will invite dhyana, a deeper state of meditation, as you feel ready. So let's begin. Notice, though your gaze is steady inward or one spot, if there's anything in your external environment that you are drawn to pay attention to right now, allow space to be aware. Whether it's very distant outside of your room, outside of your walls, or very close to your physical body. Acknowledging what external stimuli is around you, as though you're enlarging a picture on your screen. Begin to zoom in your focus closer to your physical body. Perhaps you feel the areas of contact between your body and what it's leaning on, what it's sitting on. Maybe you feel the air quality against your skin. And let's continue to zoom in our focus. Zooming into your breath. And notice that by paying more attention to your breathing, does it change? Does it deepen, perhaps? And if so, let go of controlling it again. Let it be natural. You're simply taking notice of it. Pay attention to any parts of your body that might subtly move, or where you feel your breath more present. Is it in your chest? Is it in your belly? Or elsewhere? And if it helps to focus, place your hands on that area where you feel your breath more present. Now, as you continue to allow your breath to pace itself naturally, feel the beginning of your breath, very start of the inhalation, and pay close attention to where that breath completely expands. And then pay close attention to the beginning of your exhalation. Trace your attention
to the very end when the breath has released from your body. Do the same with your next in-breath. With your next out-breath. Simply commit to paying close attention to how it feels as your breath begins, fully develops, and to how it feels as your breath exits and completely releases. Just that. Keep going. If your attention diverts, just regain your focus. Breath in, breath out. Enjoy the simplicity. Breath in, breath out. Keep going. and you feel yourself, your presence underneath your breath. Even witnessing as your attention might follow a thought. Breath in, breath out. So in reverse of our starting meditation, softly begin to zoom out. So from your thoughts or your breath as focus, expand your attention to your physical body again, to your immediate surroundings, perhaps what your body is touching. To the room or space that you're in. As you join your palms to meet at your heart. And so we close this practice. How do we continue to use our practice in our daily lives? That of cultivating present moment awareness within. Helping our perception to be clear rather than constantly colored by the mind's tendencies. Let's close this practice, chanting one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.